In fact, it's been said that the power of life and death is in the tongue. Therefore, what are we talking about? What words are you using in your day-to-day experience? And how can you be more conscious of the things that you're saying and the way that you're showing up in the world so that you can make sure that you're clearing the obstacles out of your way and attracting abundance in a powerful way quickly? Well, that's what I'm here to share with you today. And I'm very, very excited to have the opportunity to do that, especially for my sisters, because I do believe that it is the feminine, it is our power of our feminine attributes, the spiritual, the intuitive, the empathic uh, attributes that we have that are in dire need in leadership today. And we've been playing a masculine game in a lot of ways, and that's it, and that's just energy. What I speak of, I don't speak of gender. I just mean the energies. We've been playing a very physical game, but I think most of us can agree that there's a bigger picture than what we see. And so this is why it's my delight to share with you how words can have a quick impact on what it is that you're attracting. And in fact, they do. The question is, are you doing this deliberately, or are you just reaping the byproduct of the things that you're saying? So as far as being a vehicle goes, when if thoughts are what we are, how we go from one place to the next, is how we create our world. Because there are two schools of thought. There's more than two schools of thought, but there's two general schools of thought when it comes to how the world was created. The two big ones that seem to be at odds in our in this construct of reality today is that God, or a higher power, spoke the word, and the word was God. Then there's the other side, that's science. There was a big bang. Vision Board Music believes that it's all the same thing. It's sound. There's no need to argue. It's the sound. It was a sound. Sound creates worlds. And we understand this in the energy that we put behind it. So when it comes to our thoughts, if thoughts are where everything starts, then we would like to say that love is the fuel that propels you towards your dreams and what you want. And with love comes faith. So the things that you're speaking, you want to make sure that you're speaking from a perspective of faith rather than fear. Because truth be told, in a lot of ways, fear is faith in the evil of sorts. Fear is faith in what can go wrong. I heard it said once that worry is the worst use of imagination that we could possibly do. So imagination, if we are creating all the time, what scenarios are you creating? The beautiful thing is that we do have co-creative control of our thoughts, and a powerful disruptor of thoughts that are building momentum in the wrong direction are your words. So by speaking the things that you wish to bring about in your life, the world that you wish to create, by speaking that out, you're sending a powerful ripple effect into the energy that actually must come back to you in the way in which you spoke it out. So if love is the fuel that propels you towards your dreams and allows for the things that you want to come towards you, then words are the shift stick, is kind of the way I like to say that. And so a good question is, how do we shift? Well, I'll tell you a little story about myself. Over the past, let's see, it's been probably about 6 months now. About 6 months ago, I had a pretty traumatic experience happen to me, all back to back. Just so you know how I used some of these, how I came to understand these tools a lot better. I had just gotten ghosted by my boyfriend that I had just moved to Florida. I'm in Texas. I'd moved him to Florida. And I was coming back to Texas to tie up my loose ends, and I get a big box on my door with all my stuff. Haven't talked to him since. That's pretty devastating. On top of that, when I got back to El Paso, it was the epicenter of COVID. at that time in October last year. So this is well after the whole shebang started. And so didn't know this was going to be happening. And then my uncle ended up dying of COVID. How I was going to recover from this. For answers, I was fortunate enough to stumble upon a little tab that said Abraham Hicks. And now I've seen The Secret a long time ago. And, kind of dates me, but it's been decades ago. And I thought, and I always resonated with that. But I never, ever looked into more deeper into the Abraham Hicks, who really was a big propellant of that understanding. But what happened was, in the blessing that I was able to come across that, because as soon as I watched it, I understood the law of attraction, the vibrational universe, everything that's happened to me in my life is my responsibility. And there's a power that comes with that. And so by doing that, I realized that you cannot tune in to, let's say this is Science 101, you can't tune into 95.5 FM and expect to get what's on 100 AM. You have to be conscious of how you are tuning your energy and your vibration. And it's like attracts like. So you will attract what it is that you put out there. You will attract how your energy is vibrating. And words are a quick way to attract things different. So when you begin to look at things from a different perspective and you begin to use different words, you begin to see a different life unfolding before your very eyes. And this is important also when it comes to, being in business and entrepreneurship, because your clients, they are tuned into WIIFM, and that's what's in it for me. So you always want to be speaking not about what your product or service does, but what are you here to what gift are you here to give to the world? What benefits and results can you get for your clients? How are you going to help them to have a much better, richer life? And I know that if you're watching this, you have those products and services and you have a gift to give the world. And a lot of this comes, again, with clearing your inner critic so that you can hear your own voice powerfully. Because once you get in alignment and you hear what your voice powerfully, then you're able to use it in order to attract the clients, the life, the partner, the life, the relationship, everything that you want, because you're clear. And so it is our belief at Vision Board Music that every voice gets to be heard and every purpose fulfilled. That is our motto. That's what we are here to do. And so that's what I'm going to show you some simple ways to do that today. I hope that that's okay with you all. Okay, so here we go. So how do we wholly shift? So when I was in that bad place in my life, I remember I was thinking, I dropped a fork. This is crazy. I dropped a fork and I said, I'm just gonna be honest, I said a cuss word that starts with an S. And I was so upset. And then I started thinking about it. Why am I so upset that I just dropped a fork? Why am I putting so much energy behind this? So then my mind said, instead of saying that word, what if I said shift? Shift. Because I was thinking about the story where they say when you get out of bed and you stub your toe, and then your whole day can go bad from there if you're not conscious of your thoughts. So I said, instead of saying that negative cuss word with all that energy, I'm going to say shift. So I can shift so I can consciously remind myself to shift. And then I thought, holy shift, like WHOLLY. And then I thought, what if in my whole life, I could wholly shift my entire life? What if it's a holy shift? to go from continuing to be in the same cycle of negativity or getting stuck and being able to wholly shift into a new way of being. And that has really, really driven me so powerfully since I came to that revelation and realization. And the beauty of it is that the answers, when you begin to think different and begin to ask for a different experience, it's powerful what you will see that you are creating, and you will begin to be present to notice every answer that is coming towards you in warp speed. And I can promise you that that is the case. I am a living testimony. And so TD Jakes said something powerful the other day, and he said, when crossing into a new way of being, a new life and a new role, your language gets to change. That's powerful. We get to change the way that we approach information, the way that it synthesizes within our being, and the way that we communicate and what we communicate about. These are the words that you get to use. The things that you talk about change when you are deciding to wholly shift into a leadership role, into a role of impact. You get to talk about different things. Socrates said that poor people talk about people. Average minds talk about events. And the top thinkers, the most influential people talk about ideas. So what are you talking about? These are things that we get to be conscious about in our moment right now that will determine what direction we go in. Because why? Because our emotions, the way we feel, is what guides us towards abundance and what attracts abundance towards us. So if we are conscious about feeling good, it's deceptively simple. But when we decide to consciously feel good about ourselves, about what it is that we're doing, what we're creating, and about the benefits that they have for the world, then it changes how we move about the world, and it brings a certain energy and light to us that happens to attract more of the people that want to elevate through our process. And so that's why being super conscious about the words that you're using is very important. I'm just checking the time. I want to make sure. Okay, so quickly, what I would like to do is take you through the quick process of how to use your words better and more intentionally, I should say, more consciously. Now, if you're familiar with the law of attraction, it's like attracts like, and the saying goes, it's a three-part process: ask, believe, and receive. I would like to invite you to think a little bit different about it, and to think about it in a circular fashion, because it's not a list. It's not like you ask, you believe, and then you just receive what you want. It can be that simple, but it takes a few clearings. And this is what I mean when I say to the energetic blocks, and why you want to blast through your limiting beliefs and warp speed with words. Okay, because the asking is a part that we sometimes don't quite haven't dove deep enough into. So that's the part I'm going to dive deeper into because of the power of the words. When you're in the asking mode, let's say that you're asking for a Range Rover, which is one of the things I'm asking for, but you're asking for a Range Rover, okay? You may have a 1-bedroom apartment right now. So you're asking, I am so happy now that I'm getting a Range Rover. What you get to do is to monitor your mind and continue to ask questions. This is where we go wrong. You don't ask, when's it going to get here? When's it going to get here? That's not the question you want to ask. What you want to ask is, why do I want a Range Rover? What can I do to get a Range? What can I do to clear the path to have the Range Rover come towards me? You know, what limiting beliefs do I have that make me believe that I don't deserve it? So there's a lot of healing that gets to happen through the ask, believe, receive, line of questions. And that's what I want to invite you to do, to keep asking yourself questions. And that's, if you don't take anything else away from this masterclass that I'm speaking today, it is to remember to ask yourself more questions, and ask questions that are on the side of the stick that can give a resolution. Don't ask, why is it not coming? What am I doing wrong? Those questions are low vibration. You want to ask questions from love. Why do I deserve this? Why do I want this? How can I get this? What can I research to get closer to what it is that I desire? So those are the types of questions. And I wrote down some more, who you're speaking to. Why are you speaking? Why are you talking to a certain person? What are you talking about? These are questions that you want to ask yourself. These are the power of words. And when you get to an emotion that is uneasy, that's a moment that you get to look at that emotion and say, emotion, why are you here? When you ask an emotion why it's there, I look at an inanimate object and I'll put the emotion on the object. It just helps me to kind of see it. Emotion, why are you here? And then, let's say you're talking to a prospective client, and you feel, all of a sudden you feel like they're not listening, or you feel like you're not worthy to sell them your product. Emotion, you don't do this in front of them, but in your mind you say, emotion, why are you here? You set the emotion down, and then you just continue with your process. Eventually that day, if you open your heart after you ask that question, because that's why I say adjust your receiver. If you open your heart and you ask a question, you must get the answer to that question. The universe will deliver the answer to your question. That's why it's important to ask the right questions. So become very curious about the world around you. Become curious about yourself. Become curious about the clients you wish to serve. And if you can ask the right questions to yourself every day, all day, the work never stops, by the way. So you can never ask too many questions, but you will find the answers will come, and you will continue to grow, and you will clear the path for abundance and all that you've been asking and desire to come towards you in your life. And that I can assure you. And hopefully that was helpful. And I think that's about it. I think my time's about up. I don't want to go over.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I learned a lot actually. And I was just here listening and nodding like, oh, that's right, that's right. And everything you just say is so right. So I couldn't agree more. And it hit me right in my heart and my mind actually. And
Right.
actually, that's so true that we have to really communicate better so we can attract abundance. And I've never heard about vibrational universe before, and that's wonderful to hear right now. And I think we also have to be more sensitive with our words because it also affects other people, right? And we should speak with love and with faith rather than fear. And we should and actually it affects our perspective too. So we should shift our mindset to be a better person to communicate. So we can also have great relationship with other people. So
Yes.
that's so amazing. I've learned a lot actually.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you.
thank you so much for being here, Michelle. So right now, Michelle will give us another awesome gift for our community. So yeah, you can tell us about your gift right now, Michelle.
Thank you. I am so excited to give you this gift because it is so fun. Speaking of sound, speaking of words, I'm a singer-songwriter, by the way. I've been on TEDx. I've performed for a lot of different people, and worked with a lot of different artists that are incredible. I created a song called Checks in the Mail. And it is to attract abundance, since that's what we were talking about today, and so it's it's words with music. And when you put sound and music, it helps you it really download that energy. You know how you might know a song and you haven't heard it for 10 years, but you hear it and you still remember all the words. That's how powerful the sound and music is. So my gift to you is a song called Checks in the Mail. And on top of it, I put a video slide to it just to make it that much more powerful to get into your mind. So you can think about getting checks instead of worrying about getting bills.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's a wonderful gift. And I also comment down the link of the gift on our Facebook Live so they can just click it and note that this is free. So you can just click it and just get the gift right away. And
That's
I
right.
think, yes, just to wrap up this live, what do you think is the first attitude or the first characteristics that we should build for us to communicate better?
That is a great question. And it's simple. Listen. Listen to ourselves, and it's meditation. Listening to ourselves and to get in alignment with our mind, body, and spirit, be of sound mind, body, and spirit, is meditation. Sitting in silence and just letting your thoughts go. It's a very powerful tool, and it's a great place to start, and it don't cost a thing. It's free.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. We should listen first uh, before we ask people to listen to us, right?
Right. And a lot of times when we listen, the beautiful thing is that we are making sure when we listen to ourselves and sit in silence before we act, when there's
Yeah,
any situation that happens, if we pull back and listen and take that time, many times we will communicate. There's no doubt you'll communicate better because you've taken the time to contemplate the situation, but you do it in silence. That's why you quiet your mind. And then, because then you come from a loving place. You can come from a loving place rather than defensive or pushy or things like that, because now you're listening to them once you've taken the time to listen to yourself.
yeah, and you become more compassionate to other people because you're now compassionate to yourself, right? Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Michelle. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your knowledge also to our community today. And we hope to have you again here. And we're so grateful to have you actually. Thank you
Thank
so
you. I'm
much.
grateful for this community.
So yeah, just get the gift of Michelle. That's so awesome. And yeah, thanks again, Michelle, and have a good day. Take care.
Too. Thank you. You too. Everybody have a great day. And remember to be in harmony.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.